Why did a federal judge just slap down ICE? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States at our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. Back in 2013, those clever fellows and gals over at Immigration Customs and Enforcement decided that they were going to go ahead and create a fake university in order to try to find student visa brokers who are breaking the law. What in the hell are you talking about, Jim? Well, for a long time, ICE has been sort of obsessed and focused on visa immigration fraud. Now, of course, that's part of their marching orders, but I think in this case, they went a little too far. Let me tell you the story. So there are these people called visa brokers. They sort of operate on the dark web. They're not really legitimate. They are certainly not following the law. And what they do is they help international students or even international workers enroll in these schools that offer what's called first day CPT. Now, generally, if you come to the United States on an F1 student visa and you complete your studies, at the end of those studies, you can get what's called OPT, optional practical training, which allows you to stay in the United States and work for a year in your field of study. If you have a STEM degree, then you can actually work on OPT for 3 years. And then there's a subpart of OPT or a corollary to OPT, which is called CPT, and curricular practical training. CPT allows you to work while you're in school. Now, most legitimate universities will not offer what's called first day CPT. In other words, they won't let you start working while you're going to school because you're supposed to carry a full course load. You're supposed to be in class, on campus. This is, of course, putting COVID to the side because this was long before COVID, but you're supposed to be in class full time, and your working is supposed to be secondary to your studies. It's not supposed to be the primary motive of why you're in the United States, and it's not supposed to be how you spend your time full time. So ICE was getting frustrated with finding out these brokers, and they couldn't figure out a way to figure out how these sort of fly-by-night universities that were offering CPT and making a lot of cash by charging international student rates were connecting employers to these students/workers. And so what they decided to do, unbelievably, is they made up a fake university. It was called the University of Northern New Jersey. And this was back in 2013. And they registered with the Department of Education. They created a website. They created email addresses, and they started operating as if they were one of these fly-by-night universities that would allow first day CPT. And when they did that, they started finding connections to these people that they were looking for, the brokers, and they then went a little too far. They did start enrolling students in first day CPT. They started enrolling them in this fake University of Northern New Jersey. And then they dropped the net on some of these brokers. They also decided to cancel all the student visas of any student who had applied to or enrolled in the University of Northern New Jersey. And this is where they went too far because there was no proof or basis for an allegation in most of the cases that the students knew that the school was fake. In other words, they probably could have used their trap to catch the brokers, but then when they revoked all of the students' visas without any kind of due process, without any kind of individualized analysis as to whether these particular students had done anything wrong, that's where they went too far, and that's where they violated the due process rights of these students. Now, I had 2 or 3 of these cases, and I remember thinking that the whole thing was BS, and I didn't put much stock in the fact that these students' visas were revoked, and I always thought that they could challenge any negative immigration impact on these students caused by the ICE sting at the University of Northern New Jersey. Turns out I was right. So one of the all-time best immigration lawyers in America is a fellow named Ira Kurzban, and Ira, he fights the good fight. You should look him up. He's a real hero of mine. I actually got to speak on a panel with him in Las Vegas one time. He's really a mensch and a wonderful man, and just one of the world's greatest immigration lawyers. You might hear me talk about looking at my Kurzban sometimes. That's the immigration law Bible that we use. And Ira filed a class action along with some other lawyers from his firm against the Department of Homeland Security for the due process violations, and that case was dismissed. And Ira and his team appealed to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, who reinstated the lawsuit. And then just last week, we got word that ICE is now going to issue a decision, and the Department of Homeland Security is going to be prevented from negatively impacting the immigration background or history or record of any of these international suits. Now, some of them, of course, have probably departed the United States, but they are also going to get some compensation through the form of attorney's fees and other remedies from the judge. The settlement's still being finalized, but it looks like that ICE is going to be paying all the lawyer fees and correcting these wrongs, these due process violations that they did. Hopefully it'll be another smackdown and prevent ICE from doing stupid stuff like this. As they often do, they went too far. As they often did, they used a sledgehammer to solve a problem that could have been fixed with a light ball peen hammer. Hope this makes sense. If you have questions or if you were screwed over by ICE and want to talk to us, give us a call, 314-961-8200. You can email us, info@hackinglawpractice.com. Be sure to join us in our Facebook group, which is called Immigrant Home. If you like this video, we ask that you please share it out on social, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that you join us on our Facebook Live show in January 2022. We're going live all 31 days for at least 31 minutes, answering as many of your immigration law-related questions as possible. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.